What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon GO Battle League content. In today's video, well, you guessed it, we're going to be going over some more of the Might Mastery updated Pokemon. And the reason I wanted to make this video, whether I won or lost, I want to answer the question, is the Acrobatics buff on Jumpluff? Does it matter? Is it helpful? Does it make it better than Aerial Ace? So I'll let you be the judge. I think that Acrobatics definitely has its upside, but I don't know that the buff actually made it any different, really, than it already was. But another reason I wanted to make this video is because I wanted to test out Blastoise, gosh darn it. I thought, man, he's got rollout. This guy's going to be good. And he's absolutely a fun pick to use. And in the back, we're also going to be trying out Hex Jellicent. And I just was like thinking about ways I could try and incorporate a third Pokemon in this team. And I'm like, you know what? Jellicent, let's go for it. Jumpluff is an anti-grass that works out just as well. So let's get into these games now and see how this team performs in the Great League. We get an interesting lead here into Lapras, and I have two better responses in the back, especially in the form of my Jellicent, because Jellicent, if you aren't intimately aware with typings and whatnot, which is okay if you're not, Jellicent completely walls the moveset of both Lapras and Blastoise. So we have a much better answer in the back to this Lapras, and I'm going to be able to just spam out these Hydro Cannons with my Blastoise. This rollout pacing is 4-3. It is insanely fast, and the opponent's going to be able to get to a move. I think that they're going to be just going for a Foul Play here. Foul Play did get a rework. It has less damage for more energy, or less energy for more damage. And in that case, I was like, if I can get to 2 rollouts, I want to leave myself as low as possible for the Lapras. But in the same time, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to get this farm down with Jumpluff instead. So I opted not to throw, kind of like making a last second, like, okay, if I make it now, I'm going to throw. Opponent comes in with a Togetic, though, and we already showcased Togetic, and you guys know how it works. Shy Shock makes it so much better into the poison types and just neutrally than having Aerial Ace if it gets walled by a Steel type or something. Not that Shy Shock is going to stop it from getting walled by a Steel type, but you know what I mean. We're going to let the opponent throw this move here. I want them to get rid of their energy before I bring in my Jellicent, so I'm not immediately forced to shield a potential move. And the fact that they're throwing back-to-back here kind of tells me that they have 2 Psyshocks. Somehow we survive, but I'm just going to get right into Jellicent, and opponent realizes in the midst of that they are completely walled and concede. Good game. Next game up, we got Jumpluff into Gastrodon, a dominant lead win here. I just need to make sure I maintain switch, and Dunsparce is going to come in, and I don't have a solid answer for Dunsparce. So what I'm going to opt to do here is I'm going to eat a move. I'm going to go for the Acrobatics here, or the Energy Ball, depending. Energy Ball has the opportunity to lower the opponent's defense, but I think that Acrobatics does more damage. Y'all can let me know in the comments if I'm wrong here, but we come in with Blastoise now because now the opponent is within range of 1 Hydro Cannon, potentially being lethal. So this is where we're just going to be using a little chip and dip strategy here to be able to try and get ourselves switch advantage. And even if the opponent comes in with the Gastrodon, we have energy to hit it with, and the opponent just decides to let it go. Switch advantage is 1 here, which now I can just go for these double Hydro Cannons. But apparently Gastrodon wins CMP over Blastoise, which, again, on the list of things that I just don't expect to lose CMP to, Gastrodon is on that list. Okay, so we're going to be able to fire off double Hydro Cannons here. I need to maintain switch advantage, so I'm happy enough just to go for the double Hydro Cannon here, hoping the opponent maybe shields this, but they probably don't. The reason why they don't shield here is because their Gastrodon is completely hard countered here by Jumpluff, and the opponent's Talonflame is hard countered by our Jellicent and our Blastoise, honestly. So we did not, this wasn't really a skillful win here. This was really just, we hard countered the opponent, and unfortunately, they couldn't come back from it. So we do take those, though. So good game to the opponent. Unfortunately, sorry for the hard counter. But we're just making sure that the opponent can't catch our Surf here. That's the way we win this game. If the opponent catches a Surf, it's uncomfortable, but I don't think there's really a lose condition here unless they end up getting a Brave Bird through or a boosted Fly. So I just here make sure that they're throwing this Incinerate. If they don't, I know to overfarm because they're probably going to catch. But since they threw the Incinerate, I can safely go for 1 Hex and then the Surf, and then we can farm down Gastrodon or just bring in we can just bring in the Jumpluff. Opponent trying to throw a last-second Body Slam because they think it might do damage. I don't know. But we're going to be able to farm down with Jumpluff. Good game to the opponent. Next game up here, we're going to have Jumpluff on the lead versus a Weezing. This is a very awkward lead here because Jellicent gets core broken as well by the brutal swing this thing probably has. An opponent has Cradily, and I kind of at this point and a few games after, I realized we have a Cradily problem. I'm going to be fully transparent with y'all. These are not straight sets. I did about 4 sets this morning. I had a fairly awful day forcing Jumpluff to work. Unfortunately, I just think that the current meta is not exactly Jumpluff friendly. And even though we had some good leads so far, I think that Cradily is just such a common thing in the meta that Jumpluff does not cleanly beat, that it's just difficult for this team. If there's a lot of Cradillys, this team is going to struggle because Jumpluff can't really handle it. If you want to alter this team into a team that I think is quite honestly the best version of it, that I'm going to actually try to run in the somewhat near future, is I would be using a Cradily lead with Jellicent and Golisopod in the back. Y'all saw possibly the Golisopod video that we put out yesterday. I really genuinely think the Golisopod is like on a whole new level with the Aqua Jet pacing that it has. So yeah, opponent's just going to go for the Brutal Swings here. I have to shield up one of these. I know I can live one Brutal Swing, and I'm hoping that maybe Jellicent can just do well against whatever's in the back, since they have something that does well against Ghosts in the lead. Hoping maybe that's the case in the back. We're going to go for the Shadow Ball. It lands. Thankfully, we're able to take out the Weezing, and now it's just going to be up to whatever's in the back, depending on what the opponent has. And they have a Feraligatr, so only real win condition I have here is if I can go for the Shadow Ball, get the shield, and then come in with my Jumpluff and land that Energy Ball, which I'm going to try to do. But the opponent gets the catch. Plus, I went for Acrobatics like a doof anyway, so I still hit the wrong move. I actually undercharge it, hoping I can get the farm down here, even though I know that the Gator wins EMP here. The only thing that I have an option to do here is to get this farm down and hope they get the one-turn bring-in leg. And if they don't, then they would have won anyway, fair and square. But we play to whatever win conditions we get, even if the game doesn't necessarily, even if it's not necessarily fair according to the way the game should work. But, I have no problem being sportsmanlike to people. I always respect my opponents if I can, especially if they deserve it. But like, if nobody ever lets me have those back, man. So like, until we have a situation where people are regularly letting me have those back, I don't know, man. I don't feel comfortable with trying to concede every game, every time we get a game issue. It's like, just fix the game, please, Niantic. Opponent comes in with a Cradily safe switch here. They land the move, but the thing here is that now that they've gotten to about half HP, they are now within Hydro Cannon range, and Blastoise actually outpaces the Cradily here. Our first move is 4, and their first move is 4, but theirs is always 4, whereas we have a 3 cycle in our Hydro Cannon pacing here. So I can go for the Hydro Cannon. I'm going to go on 4 just to be able to get as much possible energy here before they decide if they want to shield or let this go. And then, because we have shields, we can always shield this next move. Opponent comes in with their Blastoise, and I have switch advantage here. Blastoise is just going to do whatever I can, but Jellicent, quite honestly, is just going to be able to lock this matchup down. The opponent shields, and that's okay with me. I, at this point, know that my Jellicent has such a good matchup into this Blastoise that it's really just a tag team of Jellicent and a Jumpluff against whatever they have in the back, because there's no way that they're going to stay in with this Jellicent about to come in. So I'm going to lock my Jellicent onto the Blastoise. Opponent now comes in with the Clodsire, and it doesn't matter what this Clodsire does. 2 Surfs is going to be lethal in this matchup after the Hexes apply, so we're going to be able to throw a couple of charge moves here, and the opponent, unfortunately, won't have too much they can do. I am going to shield the Earthquake. It is the hardest hitting move left in the game, as Blastoise's energy is all resisted, and once the opponent sees the shield, they are going to go ahead and concede here. Well played to the opponent. I thought about making Jellicent the feature of this video because honestly, I feel like it really is. This thing is actually so good with the new hex pacing. Opponent has a badly, they're going to swap out into the Drapion, and this is an awkward matchup for me here. What I'm actually going to do is similar to the Dunsparce that we did earlier. I'm actually just going to go for the Acrobatics, and my aim here is either to hit this thing with a heavy hitting move or go ahead and get the shield, which we do. So now with a shield advantage, Blastoise can pretty comfortably come in and go for Hydro Cannons here and hopefully get this thing low. And if I have to, I can shield and maintain switch advantage, but I'm very happy as well just to be able to go for a little bit of extra energy, go for an overfarm, just to get myself within rollout range. The opponent actually lets that go, so we are going to be able to shield and farm down here. And even though the opponent has, I think it was a Blastoise. I completely got sidetracked by something on the other side of the screen, dude. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, no, it was Claydol. It was Claydol. Not Jumpluff, it was Claydol. Jumpluff onto Claydol, that's what it was. So we're going to be able to hit it with 2 Hydro Cannons here. The opponent is going to be forced to shield one of these if they want to keep their Claydol healthy, and we look like we CMP them on that move, which is really nice. We're going to be able to get the shield off the Morpeko that swaps in instead. That's why it looked like a CMP. But we should be able to shield here and get to the energy ball thanks to the extra energy we had from the earlier matchup. I'm going to just go straight for this energy ball here. I don't want to risk any possible chance that the opponent gets to an ore wheel because I know that they had about 7 or 8. I don't want to take that chance. We're going to be able to go for the energy ball here, and the opponent's Morpeko now was going to be so low that they will be forced to go for their energy to get, but they only have a Psychic Fang, so I completely and utterly overestimated how much energy the opponent had, and those Mud Slaps aren't going to do more than 1 or 2 damage here. This Claydol is going to be going down to the energy ball from Jumpluff. Good game, well played. We got Jumpluff on the lead in the next game against an Azumarill. I think this is the first Azumarill that I've seen all season so far, and I'm always happy to see it. This team all in general does very well. However, Sableye, not something that we're very comfortable into. This is one of those situations I definitely prefer to have Aerial Ace, and honestly, you guys have made it this far in the video. My verdict on Acrobatics versus Aerial Ace, I'm still an Aerial Ace person. I think I would prefer to run Aerial Ace on my Jumpluffs because the pacing isn't any different, really, with the energy drop, because if you consider that it's 9 energy per Fairy Wind, you're going to be basically getting up to 54 energy, which Acrobatics is 55 energy currently, so there's not really any help there with the pacing, at least to the first move, which is really a crucial pacing race to be able to do here. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to swap out. I was hoping to keep farming until it was time for me to swap out, but unfortunately, I am not going to be able to do so. So I'm going to be forced to throw a Skull Bash, but we can now come in with Jellicent and absorb the moves here. And I'm going to try to throw a Shadow Ball before they get to another Play Rough, just so I can kind of lock them out of that energy. So I'm going to overfarm as much as I can here, but unfortunately, I'm off by 1, and I thought they would be 5 to the next, and it was actually 4. They overfarmed by 1, and so Play Rough is going to land, and I'm in a very low and uncomfortable position because I can only go for 1 extra Hex, so I can't take advantage of the fact that the opponent is slow to charge moves, and I'm basically now forced to go for a very small amount of farm instead. But it doesn't matter because they would have lived anyway, so we're going to be able to get the Surf into the Sableye, and they're going to shield it. And then I can quickly swap back into Jumpluff here, go for the Energy Ball, knock out the Sableye, and we'll see what the opponent has in the back. It is a very small Goodra. Baby Goodra. Opponent throwing right away here on 6. This means that this is an Aqua Tail here, but the Dragon Breath damage afterwards would be a problem. Now, I have an issue here. I have to basically go for an Acrobatics, and what I'm thinking about doing is hopefully swapping to catch a move, but I won't be able to. But the opponent tries it for me, thinking that the pacing was 1 less, but because of the fact that they swapped out before they got to the move, they were not going to be able to get to the Aqua Tail in time afterwards, so that's going to be a good game. We are going to take those. I'm pretty sure if the opponent just throws the Aqua Tail there, they win. Up against a Morpeko lead in the next game. This thing is scary because it does very well into this back line. I need to get shield advantage to have even a hope and a prayer at this. I'm going to go ahead and let the first move go. It is a neutral Aura Wheel, and it's going to be the unboosted one, so I prefer to shield the second one and after. Gonna go for the Energy Ball. This will force the first shield. This would be where I could have Aerial Ace and bait potentially, but I'm gonna take that shield advantage here and swap into Blastoise. Now the opponent's got a Dark type Aura Wheel. I'm gonna say I hope this doesn't do too much damage. Boy, did I learn today that there's no way that I get out, and I don't even get the move. So I'm like, you know what? I have no way out of this, dude. I have to hope that they don't shield and hope that Jumpluff can deal with whatever's in the back. I'm calling a Psychic Fangs bait here because that's the only way I stay in this game. It's Aura Wheel. Goodbye, Jumpluff. I'm top lefting. Nice one, trainer. Very nice. That's why Morpeko's so dangerous. You guys saw it when I was playing it earlier in the season, just a few videos ago. It's a dangerous Pokemon if it gets the chance to hit a team that is weak to it. Opponent here, staying in with a Steelix, and then they catch my Energy Bolt on Corviknight. Just continuing this mad streak of catches that I just cannot deal with mentally, man. These people are crazy. Good, in a way, and it's in a good way, though. But the Corviknight here is going to have to deal now with Blastoise, which 2 Hydro Cannons will actually do enough to... I've probably just been talking so quietly this whole time. We're going to be able to go for these Hydro Cannons. I'm going to overfarm just slightly each time because I know from playing Corviknight myself that it's 12 Sand Attacks to Iron Head and about 14 to Sky Attack. So we're going to be able to knock them out and keep the shield disadvantage, but the opponent's got their Steelix coming in, and we're going to be able to go for the rollout and land or get a shield off with this Hydro Cannon. And any one Hydro Cannon landing here would be nice. This is a very uncomfortable Pokemon to deal with. Steelix always, like, I always happen to see Steelix when I'm playing Jumpluff. Every time. Opponent's going to be able to get, hopefully not to another move before we are, but we are able to get to the Hydro Cannon here to force another shield or get rid of these HP on the Steelix, which they do decide to let that go, which is actually great for Jumpluff because we actually didn't take a charge move on it, and that means that an Energy Ball will pretty much be lethal from this range, if not close to it, and then Jellicent hopefully won't have to deal with this thing. Now, they caught once. I am expecting them to catch again, so I'm purposefully going to overfarm, especially because they just threw their move, and I know that they're not going to be able to get to another one for a little bit. They're going to go into the Altaria. I'm going to go for a few Fairy Winds, and then go for the Acrobatics here to land some good chip damage here before coming in with Jellicent. I know that it is a very slow pace to Altaria's charge moves. I believe it's 19 for Dazzling Gleam if it runs it, and 20 for the Sky Attack. So quite a lot of energy to be gained there to get to a move. So I'm going to shield the first one just to make sure I'm not going to be like within Dragon Breath down range. And the opponent has a decision to make. Are they going to shield or call my bait here? And we're going to see them let the Shadow Ball through. And that honestly is what's going to be needed to win this game, because the opponent has Breaking Swipe and Psychic Fangs. I am not afraid of a crunch. I can easily get to a Surf before they get to any moves that would knock out. So they're going to go ahead and let that go. That's a good game. Next game, we got Jumpluff into my nemesis, Cradily. Well, now you get to see how we handle Cradily leads, because this is actually quite painful because of the fact that we don't have Aerial Ace. We aren't able to get any moves off until this debuff comes through, and I can't really swap out either. This is a really awkward situation to be in. So what I'm going to do here is what I've started to do in the lead is I've just kind of taken 2 Rock Tombs and swapped out with the energy after landing a move, because as you guys saw earlier, Blastoise can do well enough in this matchup if we can get some HP off the Cradily. I'm going to take this move, save the energy for later. Blastoise is going to come in. Opponent is actually quite nice to stay in here, or feels like they can because they're a grass type. Surely this is fine, but the Hydro Cannons will do quite a bit of damage, and they're going to want to shield the first one, and I expect them always to throw Rock Tomb because it makes my blood boil if they don't throw the super effective move, but they do so and then swap into Jellicent. So I am in a really, really bad spot here. I'm forced to just go for Hydro Cannons. And I was telling you guys earlier, if I could upgrade this team, it would be a Cradily lead instead of Jumpluff, and then we would have Jellicent in the back. So this trainer is running the exact team that I think would be really nice. Obviously, we haven't seen their third, but I think Golisopod is honestly a really strong candidate for a third Pokemon there. You could also do something like Morpeko if you want to, and you could just like lead the Jellicent, or yeah, honestly, you could lead either one, to be honest, but I would probably do like a Cradily lead with Jellicent, Morpeko, or something like that. But we're going to call the Surf because that's the only win condition that we might possibly even have, is no shielding a Surf. If they go for Shadow Ball, then I know it's over. I lose anyway if I shield that and it ends up being a Surf, so I'll just take the option here, and they're going to have Claydol in the back, and that gives me a small glimmer of hope that maybe I can make something happen here. Opponent is going to go for the Rock Tomb, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the Surf one before they get to it and try to be able to swap out and catch the charge move afterwards if I can. My switch clock is up, but they actually let the move go, and then they come in with Cradily, and I overfarm as much as I can, thinking that I might be able to do it. Now I have to try and catch a move. If I can catch a move successfully, a Surf will be enough to knock out here. We're going to go for the catch, but the opponent doesn't fall for it. We don't get to the Hydro Cannon, and I'm in shambles, unfortunately. Jumpluff comes in, but is going to be able to get the Acrobatics in, but I needed it to be on the Cradily. The Jellicent's going to catch it, and that's going to mean the game is over here, unfortunately. Well played to the opponent. Nice catch. Yeah? We got Forretress in the lead in the next game, and I'm in shambles because this thing breaks my whole team. Okay, I want to get down. All right, well, so much for that, I guess. All right. Well, if you want to come back, you can. Yeah. Oh, you stinky. That's why you came over here. You stinky. You smile. She's smiling at me, dude. She's like, yeah, I know what I did. I'm going to come in with Blastoise, similar to the Cradily. This thing is going to core break my team. I know that they don't have super effective charge moves. It's just the Volt Switch, but Rock Tomb. I love Forretress, dude. I think it's such a fun mon to run. And the opponent's now going to come in with Blastoise after our attack's been debuffed. This is unfortunate because the Forretress and Water cores very well together. I like that this trainer's, put these Pokemon together because I think the Blastoise and things that are weak to water, right? Like especially, because like Blastoise with Rollout and Hydro Cannon fills both the water roll and the anti-fire roll because those Hydro Cannons do so much damage. And you can also just, use Skull Bash in other situations. But Hydro Cannon here it's all resisted. I'm going to try and overfarm, but once again, I'm off by my counts, and so I'm just going to have to let this move go here. Hydro Cannon will take quite a bit of a chunk out of our HP, and I'm just saving both shields for the fact that I know that I have to deal with that Forretress in the back. However, everything I have is getting extremely low, and I'm very not confident at this point. Very sub-confident. I don't know. And then they come in with Feraligatr, and I kind of at this point realize that I'm hosed. I don't really think that Jumpluff is going to make a difference at this point. I'm going to hope that I can try and make an Energy Ball land here. Opponent's going to come in with the Ferretrus, though. I need to land 3 Acrobatics, and it's exactly in this moment is when I really solidified my decision of, man, I just want Aerial Ace. I don't care about having Acrobatics in this moment. So, and especially now that I have to deal with the debuff and the Rock Tomb pacing being better on the opponent's side. So I'm just going to go ahead, and I need to see if I can preserve my Jumpluff just enough to land an Energy Ball. So I'm going to go ahead and take this shield up the Rock Tomb, and I'm going to look to try and make a catch and see if I can't get the opponent to fall for it. Now we're going to go into the move here. We're going to go ahead and swap out. Now, what happens? Can we get the energy needed? Absolutely not, because we go and get farmed down after going for one more fast move. So unfortunate. I was trying to get there, but unfortunately we got one turn bring in. And because of that one turn bring in, we couldn't go for the one Fairy Wind, and then the Volt Switch got us. So is what it is, unfortunate, but we hit another Cradily lead, and I'm already sad because I don't like dealing with this lead. But once the opponent is out of energy, which they seem to be throwing right away here, so they may be apt to do it again, I'm going to continue to play the same way I was. I'm going to go for Acrobatics here because I'm pretty sure it's more damage. And then as soon as I see them throw that second Rock Tomb, I will be going into my Blastoise here, because that is get away from the light bright, you little booger. You booger. We're saving the energy going in here just as we did before, and this has been the strategy that's gotten me more wins than losses. But it's still not a fun way to have to play this out. Stop messing. It's not yours. Go on. No. She's looking for a fight. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, she's looking for a fight. Opponent's going to swap to try and catch the move on their Blastoise, but because I know that I don't have to throw until they get to 4, I know that I don't have to throw right away, and we're going to land the Skull Bash here, and I'm going to hope to try to catch on Jellicent, and the opponent over farms, and we're able to perfectly get the swap in to make this catch on this resisted energy, and this is going to put us in a really good position because we can over farm here, go for a Shadow Ball to knock out the Blastoise once we're ready. I'll probably let them throw one more move, and hope I don't miscount again, and then try to save the shield for the Cradily, which is very close to a charge move. We're going to go for a couple more moves, and we're going to go for the Shadow Ball, but again, my counts are off. I've miscounted. I'm not used to these new counts yet, and Hydro Cannon is going to put us lower. Now it's like, man, I could have just thrown one before, had all that extra HP to do something with, and maybe possibly win this game, but now the opponent's coming in with a Golisopod, and I am really wishing that I had that HP back, because Jellicent could have used it to possibly land another move. Now, Skull Bash is going to get the shield off the opponent. I have a move banked on Jumpluff. With the HP range that this Golisopod is at, this is where the Acrobatics is going to be helpful. We're going to be going for some rollouts here. Look to try and get to that Skull Bash. The opponent comes in with the Cradily, and we pivot back over to the Hydro Cannon to get this damage in, and hopefully it's enough. It is definitely going to be enough. We're going to be able to go for a second Hydro Cannon from that over farm, and Jumpluff has the move ready, and I'm going to make an immediate pivot in and hopefully be able to get to this move. And I go for the Energy Ball just because I forgot which side my move was on. But we're going to be able to hit the Energy Ball off anyway and take it. We had a shield that was safe. As long as we didn't get one turn bring in and go down to the Shadow Claw, we were very solid there. But some really fun games here. I definitely would not recommend running Acrobatics over Aerial Ace still, especially on your Shadow Jumpluffs. I think on regular Jumpluff, the extra damage helps, but the pacing is just so much better against so many things. I had so many games where I really felt like Aerial Ace would have been much preferred. So that's my verdict. I hope y'all enjoyed the video and had some fun getting exposed to the new Jellicent, Blastoise, and Jumpluff counts, and let me know in the comments if you guys have tried any of these Pokemon. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you as always. Bye-bye.